Hey,
you're now listening to So You Were Saying?
with Dora and Lex.
Tune in every Friday for the latest episode.
Okay, so hey guys. And,
Hey.
Ooh. And welcome back to yet another episode of So You Were Saying.
Today's topic, we will be discussing...
Your relationship isn't a partnership. So let's talk about it. You have many people in these relationships that aren't actually partnerships.
What do we mean by that?
I'm in a relationship where I'm just going with the flow, but you and I do not see eye to eye on the end vision. Where I want to be, you don't want to be. The car that I'm driving in is not driving in the same direction that you're driving in.
Okay.
We ain't together forever. We just together for right now.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So I personally feel like relationships are temporary. Period.
Oof.
Because if you're in a relationship and you don't have I'm not going to call it an end goal, because if you're in a partnership and there is no ending to it, you guys will grow together.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're in a relationship, there is an end point because you don't have a goal as a unit.
Oh.
And I feel that when you don't have a goal as a unit, you're not going to last, because as life goes on, you evolve. And if you're not evolving with your person, you will separate.
You're growing to two different directions.
Exactly. So if you're in a partnership and you understand that as life goes on, you change, you evolve, the other person evolves and develops, and you guys grow through them together with the understanding that it will continue to progress us in life in a positive aspect, because that's always the goal, is to be in a healthy, positive, non-toxic relationship. And if you're in the understanding that your partnership, or that you're in a partnership, then it's kind of like being married. It's a marriage without the vows. You don't even have to be legally married to be married. A partnership is a marriage. It is a commitment to the unit that you have to move forward together no matter what, understanding that we're going in this direction in life, whether that's buying a house, starting a business, just getting the bills paid together, whatever that is, having a family, time freedom, whatever your
when to have children.
Right. Ooh, that's a whole nother thing. But but you guys have to be somewhat on the same page while still remaining individuals.
Now, I have a question. Do you feel that this comes with certain time frames in your life? Do you feel that relationships need to exist during certain time frames, typically like early, later in your teens, early 20s, and then you evolve into more of a steady setup, into a partnership?
That question.
I'm just asking because since you feel some type of way, say it.
I do. I feel some type of way because of my own personal experiences in life. And I will say that I don't think that there is a right or wrong time to get into a relationship or a partnership or whatever situation that you're getting into. However, it's based on the individual, because not everyone, how do I say this without sounding rude?
Not everybody's built for that.
Not everybody's not everybody's built for it, but in the sense of like, people mature later in life.
This is true.
And some people mature earlier on in life. Me personally, I grew up sooner than what I needed to. And I stepped into a situationship at the time. I'm going to call it a situationship for that moment of my life, where I didn't even know what it was going to be or what it could or possibly evolve into. However, trying to not spill all the tea. Not spill all the tea, but just enough. But basically, I didn't know at that time that it would turn into something. And as the time went on, I changed so much that my view on relationships and partnerships and situationships changed.
I think it wasn't, yes, your views, but I also think your needs changed.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%.
As you evolved what you needed in your late teens, early 20s, and now you still ain't 30, but walking into your 30s.
I'm knocking at the door.
Yeah, okay. But now as a mother, now you realize, there you go. So that was a big catalyst.
Exactly.
So becoming a mom, then it's just like, oh, okay. So it's not just me. Now I involve Turtle.
Turtle
And-
being my daughter, by the way, you guys. If you don't know, she calls her Turtle.
Yes, I am her godmother. She has no chin, and her name is Turtle. But and all of this is in dear fun. I love the little girl. She doesn't actually look like a turtle. She's really cute.
She came out looking like a turtle. Don't lie to these people.
Okay, but she kind of has a chin now. But
Back
anyways,
to the point.
back to the point. So yes, so your needs changed with the evolution of who you are and certain things that happened, i.e., the motherhood.
Becoming a mother, right?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So now, when it comes to that, do you think that there are actual people that believe? Okay, so let me just rephrase this. So, is there any time where a relationship and a partnership can exist the same way, where there isn't a separation of that, or is it clearly just one is a relationship and then the other one is a partnership?
That is all dependent upon the person.
Okay.
Because see, here's the thing too. Not everyone is going to be willing to stay. So what I mean by that is some people are built for this life of
Built for what life?
built for the life of sticking to it and relationships are a choice.
Oh, no, yeah,
Partnerships
definitely.
are a choice. Marriage, being with someone, committing to someone wholeheartedly is a choice.
Absolutely.
Love ain't crap.
Sugar.
Sugar, honey, iced tea. You know what I'm saying? Like love is not enough. Love is not everything
Ooh,
either.
Okay. Yes. One thing, amongst many lessons learned in my 30s, love is not enough. And if that burns and hurts in your soul, it's because you've learned it too.
Like when Tina said, "What's love got to do?"
Copyright.
got to do?"
Copyright.
I'm just saying, but she was right.
Yeah.
What does love have to do with it? Okay, because at the end of the day, love is an emotion, and emotions are not logical half the time.
They aren't.
And when you get caught up in your emotions fade.
And not only that, but when you're in an actual partnership, there will be times that sometimes I look over and I love you and I have love for you. But right now,
I want to punch you in your face.
Exactly. I'm not so much in love with you right now. I will always have love for you, and I'm choosing to stay because you bring so much great into my life.
Exactly.
But I really dislike your person now, and sometimes I just want to chop you. So that's why there has to be more than love, or at least I believe that there has to be more than love.
And that's where a partnership comes in, because if you're in a relationship, and this is for me at least, I believe that the people's misconception of it all is that they think that partnerships and relationships go hand in hand when really they don't, because a relationship can crumble out of the fact that you feel like, oh, I just don't feel like loving you anymore today.
Right.
Bro, okay, and?
Or somebody better, okay, because
or somebody better looks, comes along.
Not even better looks, but just the grass always looks greener on the other side.
I wasn't talking physically. I was talking about everything as a whole. Because you can have somebody where, we about to get real deep. Hold on. Let me tell you something. Life will throw so much at you in your relationship, your partnership, that what you do in that moment will determine if it was a relationship or a partnership.
Mm-hmm.
Because you and your partner, you and your spouse can be down and out, okay? I mean, everything can be great at one point and then something hits the fan, whether that's financially, like children, right? Loss, death, family, friends, whatever life throws at you, how you deal with it in that moment will determine where you stand and the type of commitment that you have to that person.
Right.
Because let's use finances, just because it's just the easiest thing to use right now. Mm-hmm. Say you and your partner got into this financial crisis and you feel like they're not doing enough, or they're not providing enough. Even if it was 50-50, not saying that they were doing the whole 100 or you were doing the whole 100, but let's just say 50-50. They're not putting their 50 in the way it's supposed to go.
Right.
And somebody comes along and they just catch your interest, and that person happens to have their finances together at that point in time that you know them, and you start looking the other way because it's like, well, maybe that person will stabilize me better. It's a problem.
Right.
That is a relationship. Relationship. Ding, 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 ding. That's the winner.
And honestly, it could go the other way around when people fall into money. And then all of a sudden you start seeing how much that person actually did love you and how much care and how much vision there was back there. Because you can fall into something, some people fall into lottery. Bingo. I just won the lottery.
Right.
If I'm in an actual partnership, My main thing is, where are we going? What are we doing? This is an inclusion.
Oh, that's another indicator of where you stand in that current thing that you're in is how you speak.
Is it I?
Is it I, or is it we?
Or is it our?
Or is it ours?
Ooh.
Or is it yours?
Mm-hmm.
Because let me tell you, those are huge red flags.
They're big indicators.
If you hear your person saying I, my, yours, you're in a relationship.
Right.
That person does not see
like
a future with you, period. They're not using the correct terminology.
I mean, can it evolve? Everybody can evolve. So I don't want to say necessarily that the status. Okay. Because people can learn. People can learn. Right now, they're not seeing that. But no, one of the things. Okay, so I give it to you. Never mind. I take it back. Yes.
Go ahead. No, say what you're gonna say, so the people know. Because I know. Okay. I know because I know you. But so the people know.
No, I was gonna take it back because I said, somebody can evolve, but at the end of the day, once that person shows you exactly who they are, believe them, because they ain't changing. It's who they are. That's another. Darn, these lessons. Learn it.
These lessons.
Learn.
Take people at face value.
Yes. What they actions spoken, it all matters. It's so funny because we're so used to saying actions speak louder than words. People can say anything, but honestly, it's a balance of both. It's a balance of both. It's an integration of both.
Yeah.
Once you're of a certain age, it's an integration of both. Like, I don't care how much, but if you don't value how you need to give me affirmation and affirm to me what you're doing, I'm a person, that's my love language.
I know
it's not going.
I know you were going there.
That's my love language, baby. And so for me, it's both do it, say it, speak it, love it, live it, everything. I'm a lot. This is why I'm single.
Listen, I'm a lot in my relationship, in my partnership, in my situationships, because I've been in all of them. I have been in all of them.
As have I.
And I will tell you,
single is the best one.
I mean, no.
I would love.
Say that.
I'm not going to throw it out there. I would love to embrace and build a partnership. And now in this stage of my life, I'm looking for a partnership, but I'm also actively working on myself. Like, it's just whatever the universe throws at me.
Right.
Let it come in its own due timing. And I believe in divine timing, but it's no longer me searching. But when people are like, oh, and what they start describing as a relationship, it's like, I'm too old for that, sis.
Right. Absolutely.
Sorry. Not have time. No time here.
I don't know. Listen, as far I know many of you who will listen to this and who know me personally, some of you may know my partner, some of you may not. But what I will say without, saying too much that I can't say, is my current partnership was not always this. And it was and it wasn't, to an extent. And I'm going to tell you this truthfully. When we started, it was a situationship. It was a how can I say this without being explicit? It was a
adult partnership without commitment.
We were having fun.
We were enjoying
friends
our
with
best
benefits. Life. That's what they call it, right? Yeah. Okay. Boom. It was that.
Okay.
And it was never supposed to be more than that. But your girl kind of
caught up.
Got me feeling it.
Copyright.
Usher, I see you. But it wasn't supposed to move past that, and it did. And it was mainly me. Like, if I'm being 100% honest, he was not with it at all. He was like, nope. And he has his own reasons. He had a life before me that we're 9 years apart.
But
what I'm saying, I'm getting to the point of why I said that age doesn't matter. That's not what I'm saying. Or no, I'm not saying that age doesn't matter too.
That wasn't my point, but okay.
But hold on. We're 9 years apart, and I say that to say because I met him I had just touched my 20s. And
I'm legal, yo.
I just touched my 20s.
Right.
And I was lost and confused in life. I had never been in a adult relationship because prior to him, I had my
played the field.
Yeah.
In non-committal relationships.
I dibbled and dabbled in the dating life. And that was kind of my thing. but committing to someone was not my thing. And then I met him and I was like, oh my God, I'm so in love. And I don't, whatever. I thought I knew what love was at that time. I did not know what I was signing up for. Meaning that I did not know that I was going to grow into the person that I am today and be as committed to what was happening in my life with him at that time, that led me to where we are now.
Mhm.
And when I say that a partnership it's a choice, it's because it will not always be pretty. And like I said, because it was something that he didn't want in the beginning, it wasn't pretty. And people are going to be like, well, why didn't you just leave? Sis, I don't know. I asked myself that same question a couple years ago. I was like, girl, what was you thinking? What happened? Because it's true. Like, it was not something that was supposed to go as far as it did.
Rough times.
I
went through it all.
But the reason that it did, and this is where I'm saying the partnership comes in play, because even though he was saying no to an extent, we had this.
That's my point that I wanted to point out. He wasn't actually saying no, sis, because if not, he wouldn't be here.
Exactly. I can't.
and you say this to me all the time, and I say this all the time.
She knows my relationship so well, you guys. I'm gonna let her try to, because I can't put the words together. I'm gonna let her say this part.
Yes,
but go ahead.
Okay, so he wasn't actually saying no. His fear was saying no, because of everything of his past experiences,
right? His life before,
right? Exactly. But his actual actions and what he agreed to wasn't saying no.
Right.
It's just Penelope has his own situations of why and how he says no.
Right.
But he's actually saying yes, and he does what he needs to do.
Absolutely. And that's just the type of man that he is.
Exactly. Complex.
Like, very complex. I love him, but Lord knows.
And yes, he will refer to her partner as Penelope.
Yes.
That has been his name always.
Always. He knows it. We know it. Penelope is his name. But aside from that, in the beginning, we had a lot of trust. We had a lot of loyalty. We had a lot of understanding of the situations and what it was. Honesty and communication will go a long way.
Yes.
Because although our, at that time, situationship and relationship wasn't
a commitment, a traditional
commitment, we were very committed to each other.
Right.
I mean, and it was just kind of like an unspoken thing for us until it was spoken. And it was kind of just like, this is what we're doing. This is where we are. This is where we're at. And this is what's happening. And that foundation, we started out as what we were, like the friends with benefits, whatever you want to call it. But that foundation that we built from the friends with benefits is the reason, it's a big, big reason of why we're still, moving forward.
Right.
Because a lot of people, they don't even have that. And I'm talking about, they've been together years. And I know, because I have family who ask me, like, why do you tell him everything? Why do you, why do you put, I'm about to say a name. A certain someone in my family used to say, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Right.
And for a long time, that was why I was living the life that I was living before I met him, because that's what I was taught. Like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. A man doesn't need to know everything about you, or your spouse. It doesn't even have to be a man, because I was dating a woman before I was dating him, but that's neither here nor there anyway. But my point is, your spouse doesn't need to know your every move. And it wasn't until I met Penelope that all changed.
Right.
That, he is a lot of the reason of how I view relationships and partnerships now. Because I was not, I'm going to tell y'all now, your girl would lie. Okay. I'm talking about, I had Tom picking me up in the morning and Peter picking me up in the afternoon and Harry taking me to dinner. Okay. I mean, I had no commitments to these men, period. Right. None. Or women. None of them. I just was like, we going out and this is what we doing.
Right.
And it's because that was what I was taught.
Everything was surface level.
Right. Everything was very surface level. I never let anybody get past a certain point, and that's just what it was. So when I met him and he had this thing about honesty, he was really big on it. It was like, don't ever lie to me. And I'm talking about, we done done been honest with each other on that on all kind of levels. And we're still here because of that. Communication, honesty, trust, the foundation in which you build your partnership on is very important, because that will also be a good factor of if you have a relationship or if you have a partnership.
And a quick little story on how that can be shown real quick is in my, how old was I? Early 20s, mid 20s. I want to say 20 something. I was dating this gentleman.
Ooh,
We gonna name him.
you guys, I
Smooth.
know this story already, but I'm gonna let her
Yes.
tell it.
And I'm going to tell you why it's so important to find yourself an actual partnership and not just be in a relationship and think you're in a partnership, because that will hurt your feelings 10 times worse.
100%.
But two, it was a very simple situation. At that point in time, my relationship with my family wasn't great. I started working and have worked for this company that personally was making us work slave hours.
Ooh, honey, that job.
It was
It was rough.
I was given this new facility to run. I ran it, and I came into a lot of problems with running that facility. Invasion of my privacy, numbers being given out, my personal page, and
By the way,
information.
we know each other because of this company. Yes, but go ahead.
Basically, I ran into so many issues where I was working 60 plus hours easy a week. I was tired by the time that I came home, and many times home was to his home. I would fall asleep. I literally fell asleep, not because I wanted to. I wanted to spend time with the partner and my alleged partner and enjoy my relationship and have that whole thing. But at that point in time, I didn't have the maturity of knowing that you needed balance, and everything in life needs balance. For me, it was just, I was in survival mode. I didn't have anybody to rely on. My money came from me, myself, and I. And what I needed to protect was the bag. The bag was the most important thing.
The bag.
And I remember I would constantly do this, and I would constantly fall asleep on him, constantly fall asleep on him, constantly fall asleep on him. And, all I needed at that point in time was a support system. I needed a support. I begged for a support system at that point in time because I felt so alone in this world, and I felt like the world was swallowing me whole. And instead of getting that, I got a "so we're over" conversation one morning as I'm driving into work. Actually, no, quote unquote, I wasn't even driving into work. I was driving into a meeting that day. And I was driving into a meeting at headquarters. And here I am bawling my eyes out, having another manager that at that point was not even a close friend of mine, would later become a close friend of mine. And then she goes, "What's wrong?" And I said, "Nothing." She asked me one more time. She said, "What's wrong?" I started bawling my eyes out, and I was like, "Well, he just broke up with me because I couldn't balance my job and he didn't get enough action in the bedroom." That's the day that I realized, oh, so you mean I wasn't in a partnership? I was just in a relationship.
So you said that relationship is over?
Yes. So
Right.
I cannot, I've learned so many things.
For me, what I think a partnership will sugar honey iced tea. I couldn't get my words out. It will just take a lot more to break that partnership. Like you would really have to mess up in the partnership for it to be over, because a partnership can overcome a lot more than a relationship can.
Not only that, but a partnership, I feel like, can evolve so much more than a relationship can.
And I'm not saying to stay in a toxic, unhealthy situation if that's what you're in. Let me be clear on that when I say that, it'll
sustain
a lot more. What I mean by that is you have to do some reflection on your relationship or partnership or your spouse and see if the trials and tribulations that you're going through is worth it. Because if you're in an abusive situation, or if you're in a emotionally toxic situation, then that, I'm not saying to stay through that. I'm saying that if you and your partner are going through something that you're weathering a storm, everybody knows after the storm comes a rainbow. If you know that rainbow is coming and this is just a momentary lapse in your life and your life together in your unit, then keep going. Keep going. Because you know that the good is going to outweigh the bad. But if you know that it's not healthy or it's not going anywhere, you guys aren't on the same page with what you want, let it go, sis. Let it go.
Amen to that one.
Listen, we can keep on with this topic for hours. Because honestly, there's so much more that I feel like we didn't even cover. Like we might need an episode 2 or a part 2 of this 2.0 of this topic, because there's just so much to get into. But I feel like we explained enough that you guys should take, whatever you want from it, really, but at least get an understanding of the relationship versus the partnership and what you feel that you're in
or not in,
or not in,
or what you want to search for.
Exactly. But what I will say is figure it out sooner than later, especially if it's, if you're not X amount of years in just yet, because there will be a lot of signs in the beginning that will save you a lot of heartache over the years. There will be a lot of signs, a lot of red flags,
right,
or a lot of green flags, depending on the person, that it's kind of going to tell you if it's a go or if it's not, if you need to go ahead and exit and bow out gracefully, or if it's worth staying in. Look for the signs. Don't skip the signs, people. I got to keep it real with y'all. Them signs, man.
And always open communication. It sucks, and I hate that we don't emphasize this more within our society now, to learn to communicate and learn transparency. And it's okay to not just be surface level and ask those difficult questions, but ask those difficult questions, because it's so important.
Absolutely. Difficult questions are going to be so helpful to you in your relationship or in your partnership, because you don't wait years to find out that maybe your partner doesn't want a kid, or maybe your partner doesn't, want to get out of a certain lifestyle that you want to get out of,
or doesn't want to purchase a home, and you think that property is very important. Assets, people.
Assets, right? Assets. Like, you got to know your person. But those are questions that you should be asking in the beginning. And I wish I knew. If I would have known in my early 20s what I know now,
I would have not dated a lot of people.
I would have, I would have not dated a lot of people. Penelope probably wouldn't be here. Love them to death, but it is what it is. We probably wouldn't be where we at today. I mean, I'm thankful and grateful that I am the person that I am, and that we are still, moving forward, and I have my daughter now. But let's be clear, had I asked certain questions in the beginning, or had we communicated just a little bit better, because we were very open and honest about a lot of things, but there were certain difficult questions that we both should have asked each other.
Beliefs,
generational
right. Wealth, is it important to you or not?
Right. I mean, these are the type of questions that can save you, again, a lot of heartache and a lot of time. Because if you sit down, like, I don't know how people feel like you can't ask these questions on the first and second day. Hey, so about children. Hey, so about,
do it. Put it all on the table.
Your traumas.
Ooh.
How do you know?
Do you believe in therapy?
Because these are things that will save your relationship down the line. If somebody say you're all about, emotional connections and transparency and therapies and and healing and evolving from your traumas, while the other person is set and stuck in their ways and feel like God himself can't come down here and
lack personal awareness.
Exactly. Then, and you're going to have some problems. I'm telling you from experience. You're going to have some problems. Okay, because that was a part of our problem, was that I saw things one way and he did not see things another way. And it was just like, hello, sir, what are we doing?
A good point to that is you're going to have some problems solving some problems.
Absolutely.
Because the thing is, if you both cannot acknowledge that there's a problem, therefore there will never be a solution.
There'll be a solution.
Point blank.
Boom.
That's what it is. That's what's so important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's real big. That's like, quote that. Can we quote that?
Gem for the day.
That was the gem for the day. If you both are not in agreement that there is a problem, you will never find a solution, because that other person who does not feel like there is a problem won't never say that you need a solution.
Correct.
Period. Oh, that's so good.
I love that.
We're gonna end it there, you guys. Take it for what it is. Thank you for tuning in.
And on next week's episode, we will be covering So You Were Saying Your Energy Isn't Reciprocated.
And as always, guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of So You Were Saying.
Please don't forget to follow us on Spotify, Amazon Music, and Podbean.
Also, follow us on Instagram at so.youweresaying and email tell us at soyouweresaying.com to share your stories.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Bye.